What we did next was, from our consensograms, we decided to compile a plus delta chart. And from our plus delta chart, these are things that we were really happy that we had and that we thought were good about the school. But these are the things that we wanted to change. And as you can see, there are stickers, and how we decided to rank these were the stickers. The red would be 2 points, and then the other ones were 1, so we could prioritize what we were doing. And then from here, we went to a section priority chart. And one of the things that we decided about the A wing was that we thought that the ceiling tiles needed to be fixed. As you can see, a lot of them are stained and broken. And we think by replacing the ceiling tiles, we would create a less of a distracted atmosphere for us. It wouldn't damage the technology from the leaking because it leaks on the computer sometimes, and that's not good. And it would also just wouldn't have to put trash cans in the middle of the hallways, which are kind of hard to walk around. The next thing we decided that we thought should be changed about the A wing was the bathrooms. They smell kind of bad. There's a lot of vandalism on the doors, and they won't really lock that well. The soap dispensers don't hardly work, and the rust on the toilet seats, and some of the sinks are stained and broken. We think by having new bathrooms that it would improve sanitation and student satisfaction overall. Another thing that we thought needed to be changed was the air system. As you could tell, the blowers went off when Kelly was speaking, and it kind of got awkward, and everyone's like, okay, what do we do right now? So we think if the air quality was changed and the air system was changed, it would improve students' attention, as well as teachers wouldn't have to talk as loud, and we wouldn't need microphones in rooms like these. Small classrooms were also another thing. As you can tell, this is about the typical size of an average classroom, and there's about 30 or so of us in here, the size of a typical classroom. So they are kind of crowded. With this extra crowding, it makes it easier for people to cheat. The rows are really close together. We trip over our bags, which there's none right now, so that's good. Handicap accessible. A lot of the handicapped kids have to sit in the front, and we don't think that's fair because they're always singled out and have to sit wherever they can make it. And by having getting rid of the small classrooms, we would have more room for learning. There would be less cheating. They could have more creative rooms. And teachers would have more rooms for activities, so we're not spread out in the hallway and causing other teachers distractions. Another thing were the lockers. They're kind of in inconvenient places, and they make it hard to get to different classrooms on time. The shelves are really small, and some are dented, and it makes it hard to get all your books in there. And if we had more convenient locker spaces and bigger, it would be quicker to class. We wouldn't have as many tardies. There'd be less bags and less injuries because we wouldn't have to be carrying such heavy book bags all the time. We wouldn't be tripping over anything, and it would be a safer atmosphere for our students. And the last thing was noise from class to class. It's disruptive when you're hearing 3 classes at one time going on, and you just kind of can't focus all that well. It's hard to take tests, and the walls are really thin, so it's kind of annoying because you can hear everyone. And by improving this and getting different walls, we would be able to not hear each other, and we would be able to learn better. And the next is Lauren, who's also a junior.
Hi, I'm Lauren, and we also did a plus delta for the B wing. And after we prioritized, we came up with the most important thing in the B section being improving the seats, the stage, and the mirrors in the auditorium. If you've seen them before, a lot of the seats are broken and mismatched, stained, and uncomfortable. The floor, if you've been on it, is splintered, and many different groups use it, so it's a safety issue. So replacing the stage would provide a safer place for groups and appeal to other schools that visit and use the stage. And the mirrors in the back of the stage are shattered, and they kind of provide, it's not really a good safety place for everyone to use. The next thing aside from the auditorium is the carpeting throughout the wing, in the band and choir room, and in the auditorium. It's stained, outdated, and torn, and replacing the carpet would improve safety and also the air quality. Since it's been there for quite some time, it's probably accumulated a lot of dust. So the next thing in the B wing would be the water. We think that there could be more testing for the water, because just because it passes the standards doesn't mean that it necessarily tastes good. And improving the water would increase student and staff satisfaction and approval. We've heard complaints from the band and choir room that it's pretty loud and distracting for students and staff during their lessons. It can be annoying, and soundproofing the band and choir rooms would improve the focus and learning of students throughout the entire school and the atmosphere of students and teachers alike. Another issue would be the tile in the wrestling room. Replacing the tile would get rid of years worth of mold and increase sanitary conditions like the use from sports. The wrestling room can get a little dirty sometimes, and they have to clean that. Bigger band and choir rooms would be our next issue. And if we had bigger rooms, there would be less use of the stage, less wear and tear, and it would be better and safer for every group that uses those areas. The choir room, the risers in the choir room take up a lot of space, and it's hard to move around with everything in there. And also in the band room, there are instruments that take up quite a bit of space along with the students. It's hard to fit everybody in those rooms when you're practicing. The last issue would be trophy cases for the band and choir. They go to competitions and do fairly well, but there's no place for the trophies since they're too big to fit in the cases. And it takes up that space in the choir and band room, and if we had trophy cases, it would free up room for the students to practice.